We now turn to an expert helping us decipher what happened in court today and what we can expect as the trial of Darrell Brooks moves forward.
Attorney Jamie Pagac, a partner at Kim & Lavoie Law Firm, joins us live. Attorney Pagac, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start by talking about Brooks' defense. He deferred his opening statement today. We got right into witnesses for the prosecution. What does this mean for Brooks, and what would his defense look like?
Hi, thanks for having me. Yeah, that's a trial strategy that sometimes is used by defense attorneys to defer statements. It's very rare, but for Mr. Brooks, it's probably so he can be a little bit more prepared with his case, so he can learn more about what the prosecution will be putting forth.
Now, so far, Attorney Pagac, we have seen Brooks interrupt the judge and the proceedings and a lot of different antics. Do you think some of this is to declare mistrial, or is he just possibly not familiar with court proceedings, or is this a strategy of his? What is your professional opinion?
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think that there are times where Mr. Brooks does come across very strategic in trying to delay and trying to disrupt, but there are other times where he has legitimate questions and confusion about court proceedings that Judge Darrell is answering for him. So it sounds like that he is trying to participate meaningfully. But then there are times where I think everybody gets frustrated and he is disruptive and he tries to delay. I think it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, we saw some of that confusion during cross-examination late this afternoon, where the judge had to stop and say, no, that's actually not how you do that. Like, he wanted to refer to a statement that a witness made earlier. He just doesn't understand how it's done, and that's really slowing things down.
That's correct, and I think that that's going to make the trial go much longer than probably they're anticipating, is because he does want to meaningfully participate, as we saw in both of those cross-examinations. He does have a lot of questions for these witnesses, so he's going to take his time trying to get answers for those.
And your thoughts, Attorney, on the cross-examining by Brooks? He asked a police officer if he could tell if that act was intentional. Now, as a legal expert, what do you think Brooks was trying to prove in that moment?
Yeah, I think he's trying to prove that there was no intent on his part. But as we heard in the state's opening, for a lot of the charges against Mr. Brooks, intent is not an element. But Mr. Brooks does seem that that's a very important piece of the puzzle for him, and he's been trying to get that across.
Attorney Jamie Pagac, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on day 4 of this trial, and the first day we actually saw something other than maneuvering and technical work in the courtroom.
Thank you very much, Attorney.